Hi everyone, Susan Mallery here doing a Facebook Live. Sorry, I'm laughing because life is it's funny here. I'm really excited. I'm going to be talking about When We Found Home. It's backwards again, so okay, we'll see if I can do this. I'm going to be answering questions, so I will do live questions, and I also have some written questions that were submitted earlier. I've gone through them. So if you text or if you type in a question, Janelle's going to text it to me because we have discovered I am incapable of paying attention to you and reading the screen. Only one of you can have my attention, and I choose you, not the typing. So I have my little phone ready. Janelle will text me, and oh my gosh, and she already is. Yay! So I'm going to answer questions. Today is the book birthday for When We Found Home. I'm excited, but also, a little nauseous. It's hard having a book out because before it was like, it was me and I was writing it, and now it goes out into the world and there's not a whole lot I can do. It's done. It's there. So the book is out, and so I hope you love it. I think it's really fun. Okay, so questions. Let's start with some questions. Hi. Okay, so how often do characters take you in a different direction? I do a lot of writing, pre-writing. I do a lot of character development, and I have a pretty strong handle on my book before I start writing. So it isn't often, but it does happen, and it always startles me. For example, in When We Found Home, I had normally it's like one person's book. In this case, it's about a family who, it's three people who don't know that they're related until partway through. Well, when the book opens, they've discovered they're half siblings. They share a father and they didn't know. So I had a sense of that. I liked the idea of it. Two of them are adults. One is a child, which I would think it's harder and easier for the child, if that makes sense, because she has less baggage, but she also has less life skills to figure this whole thing out. So anyway, but I will, as you read the book, I really thought it was going to be Delaney's story, and it turns out it's Kelly's. So that was really fun. I enjoyed that. Okay, so we got a question, which is, oh, how do you choose the topic? Oh, and any chance if I'll write a, for those of you who've already read the book, I'm getting a lot of what about Kira, what about Kira, what about Kira. There is a Kira novella. It's funny, when I finished the book last summer, because I'm a year ahead, when I finished the book last summer, I finished it, and I usually send out a big email. I finished the book so everybody knows I'm on schedule. That makes them very, very happy at my publisher's house. But what happened was I finished the book and thought, I need to say what happens to Kira. So I secretly wrote a novella. I didn't tell them. I wrote it, I turned the book in, I got my edits, I did my revisions, and then I called my agent and said, I kind of wrote this novella for Kira. And she was like, oh, thank God, thank God. So anyway, so yes, it'll be out it's a Christmas story. It'll be out this December. Okay. So the question is, how did I choose this topic? How did I decide to write about siblings who don't know each other? And I don't really have an answer for that. I just thought the sibling thing would be really interesting, and I was thinking about doing siblings, and then just this voice in my head said, well, what if they're not siblings? So I had to walk around with that for a while till I could figure out, oh, what if they're not siblings? Okay, so how much research do I usually have to do? It depends on the topic. I tend to write family-based books or couple-based books, and I'm going to turn off my sound because I'm getting the impression that's going to start to bother you guys. So I will just check my phone regularly. So it depends. For example, in this book, they own a Dean and DeLuca-like food company, and I had to do some research on how you do the packaging, how you put gift baskets together that they sell, how they do their food. So I do that kind of research. If they go out to a restaurant that's local, I feel obligated. My husband and I need to go there and eat at the restaurant to make sure it's okay. So I do that kind of research as well. If there's things I don't know, I look them up. The internet is amazing. I love the internet. So I'll look up locations. I'll look up, different, depending on what they're doing. Delaney's going to Bastyr University. I know about it. I have friends who've gone, but I made sure the curriculum was correct and the prerequisites in the class she needed to take was really at UW, the University of Washington. So, okay. I noticed in a previous post, use a lot of Post-its to get started when you start. Oh, do I write by hand? Oh gosh, no. I type my books. I couldn't write them by hand. My hand would die. I just couldn't do it. I know there are authors who do write by hand, and good for them, but no. I do, when I start my plotting, I do it on Post-its. And if you go back on my Facebook feed, you'll see pictures of it. And so I do that part by hand. I just need to. I've always done it that way, and it's like I can't change now, but that is the only thing I do by hand. Everything else I do on the computer. Oh, do I ever get sad when I finish a book? So here's a secret. I have mild ADD, and I should probably be medicated, and I have medication. I just don't ever take it. So, and you can probably tell, huh? So I have a very short attention span, and that's really one of the reasons I write quickly, because I need to get done before there's like, ooh, shiny thing, and I have to move on. So sometimes, like with Kira, I'm like, I need to know more, but that's different than being sad. But no, I'm ready to be done. By the time I'm done, I've spent like 5 months with these people and their problems, and they're getting on my nerves. So I want to move on. Plus, the next book is, I was like, oh my gosh, the next book is going to be so cool. And I work really far ahead. So, for example, okay, so I have a hardcover out now. That's When We Found Home. Oh, and let's look at it again because it's so pretty. Look. Ooh, I'm getting better at this backwards thing. I have already written the book that comes out next summer. And I've started on the book that comes out next fall, and I just spent some time yesterday brainstorming the hardcover that would come out in, oh gosh, I'd write it next, okay, I don't know, I think 2020. So I'm always kind of like, there's all these projects. I'm not working on them, but I'm brainstorming them. And so it's hard to be sad because it's like, oh, but I get to do this great other thing. Where is my favorite place to write? My office, which is not clean. It just, the part you see is so nice, isn't it? The little stack on the one side and the stack, oops, I am really backwards. The stack on the other side, it isn't like that at all. It's a complete mess. I have my cat. I have my computer, and just you cannot walk in here because of the dog toys. So yeah, and Alex may speak to us later because he's mad at me. Have I ever gone to a writing retreat? I have not. I don't exactly know what they are. I think you go somewhere and write. I have gone away to a hotel if I'm having trouble getting into a book and I just need to focus. I'll go away for 4 or 5 days. It's horrible. I hate it. I'm bored. I'm lonely. I write until my hands hurt, and then I watch movies, and okay, this is really weird. Don't judge. I do Legos, which Janelle finds hysterical. I will buy Lego sets, and in my free time, I'll put music on and play Legos, or just put Legos together, and then I leave them for, I hope someone in housekeeping like has a kid, and they take them apart and put them back together. So that's the closest I've come to a writing retreat, and there was a second question somewhere in here that says, how weird are you? I believe that would fall under the you are very weird category. Oh, why does it take so long for the books to be released? So I turn a book in. I'm really fortunate. My schedule is such that I can, I'm a year ahead. I have friends who like turn in a book and it's out in 6 months. And that sounds fabulous, except what if you get sick or break a bone or somebody in your family gets sick or there's a crisis? I have a year. I turn a book in about a year before it's released, and I prefer that. I want the buffer. So if something happens, there's no hysteria. I always have time built in. So, but it goes from me to my editor, where she gives me notes, and then I do revisions, and then it goes back and we do a copy edit, a line edit, and it goes out. Anyway, yes, it could be faster, but I'm about a year ahead, and I'm comfortable. Do I have a say on the models they use? The art department at Harlequin is really amazing. They really work with me. We have phone calls, conference calls. It's them, it's the whole team, it's me, it's my agent, it's Janelle, and we really talk about what we're looking for. They give us sketches, and then we get a really good idea of where we're going. It's a very long process, but I don't have a say exactly. It's not like they send me headshots and I pick, but it is collaborative. When I'm developing a character, do you decide on physical attributes first, or do I pick a name? If it's a main character, I usually pick and the guy's going to be good looking. That's just a given. It's just a matter of variations on a theme. Somebody asked me once at a signing, I'm sure it was a man, why are the guys always good looking? Hello, it's a fantasy, okay? It is a fantasy. They're good looking because it's fun. They might not always be perfect. I have a friend, Alexis Morgan, who loves her wounded heroes, you know, with scars and limps, and I always joke about that with her. So, do I ever take storyline suggestions from readers and work from there? I, in fact, have. Years ago, I wrote a trilogy called The Bakery Sisters, and in book 2, there was a teenage boy named Diego, and a reader wrote me and said, is he going to grow up and be a hero in your next book? And I had to write her back and say no, because I'm not that smart, but it was a really good idea. So Diego grew up and was a hero in book 3 of the Fool's Gold series, Finding Perfect, I think, Pia's book, because it was such a good idea. And I apologize to whoever this reader is. I'm so sorry. I don't know her name, but somebody wrote and said, I should do an empty nester book. And I thought I should, but I know what she's thinking. I think she reads my women's fiction, and so she's thinking an older couple and their kids are gone. I'm sorry, that isn't what it's going to be. That's going to be the idea I'm working on for summer of 2020, maybe, but she's 34 and she's going to be an empty nester because, you know, high school baby. Okay. Oh, check my phone because now it's quiet. All right. Oh, did I know how When We Found Home would end when I started? Yes, because I work really hard. I spend 3 weeks to a month. A book like this, one of these, look how pretty, shiny. Well, it's actually not shiny, but it's pretty. Oh, I can make the water move. Okay. I did know because I do tons of writing. I do not want to get to page 300 and think, well, this is all messed up and I have to start over. So I do I pre-write a book, depending on the book it is. The books are anywhere from like 90,000. This is almost 120,000. See, it's really thick. 120,000 words. So when I plot my book, my plotting for When We Found Home was about 20,000 words by the time I got the plot all together, which is like almost 15% of the length of the book itself. So I'm very clear. I solve all my problems as I can in advance. In fact, the book that I'm just starting, I got partway through, I do a breakdown and then I plot. And I called Janelle and said, I have no story. And we literally were on the phone on and off for 2 days as I had to break the whole book apart and figure it all out because I didn't have the right journey for the heroine. And I do now. So that's exciting. Okay. Your story, okay. Oh, how do you convey emotion you haven't felt personally? That's an interesting one, and I can't answer that. Here's what I can tell you. When I was like 7 or 8, I was playing Barbies with a girlfriend, and I remember we were sitting on the floor, and we each had a Barbie, and I'm like, okay, and we had to change one of the names because it wasn't going to be Barbie 1, Barbie 2. And I set up a situation, and I said, okay, and I said something, and she just looked at me, and I said, say what comes next. And she's like, well, I don't know what comes next. You say it. It's like, well, I'm not doing both parts because that's not fun for me. You have to say, and she's like, well, I don't know. It's like, how can you not know what comes next? You just say what comes next. So I think that was the first time. I didn't know at the time, but I mean, I think that's my first you're a writer clue. I think it's the same with emotion. If I create the characters know when they're real. When I'm working, when I'm starting, I write in their point of view until I feel them. I know that they're alive. And if I've done my job right, then once I've created their backstory and I know them and I can feel them, then I set them loose in the situation and they do what they're going to do. But I don't make them feel anything. They feel what they feel, and it's up to them to feel what they feel. I don't know if that answers your question or if that just sounds insane, but that's really what happens. So in the moment, I don't have to have lived it because I'm living it through them. And so I feel what they feel. There is a reason I don't read or write horror or anything gross, because I don't think I could live it. I mean, I don't want to live it. So one of the hardest things was The Girls of Mischief Bay. A character dies, and it's a significant character, and I don't do that very much, and it was hard for me. And if you go back and reread the book, there's no funeral because I couldn't write it. I probably should have put the funeral in, but I didn't want to cry that much, so I confess I didn't. All right, let's get some live questions. Oh, thank you, Jamie, for saying it's your favorite book. Yay! Oh, is there ever a book you couldn't finish? No. My editor would fly and slap me. She would fly to my house and slap me upside the head if I didn't turn a book in. No, because this is real. I mean, this is how I make my living. And while it's artistic and fun and amazing, my book is expected, and my publisher is waiting to do its thing, and the bookstores are waiting, and you're waiting. So not finishing is not an option. The only books that can't be finished are books I'm not contracted for. I tell my plumber's story. It's like if you have one toilet and it's backed up and your plumber shows up, he's like, yeah, I'm not feeling it today. You genuinely don't care. He doesn't have to feel it. He just has to fix the toilet. So that's kind of how I feel about what I do. It's better if I feel it. It's a better, faster, more fun writing day. But nobody cares if I feel it or not. They only care if I do good pages. So I treat this like a job. There is another question. What is the hardest book I've ever written and why? And there is a book I haven't finished. I've had this idea. I looked it up, 2006. I've been trying to write this book called Finding Billy Wade. And I have not. Part of it is I haven't had time to go back to it, but I've made like 3 runs at this book, and I can't seem to get it going, and it's oddly structured. So I have not been comfortable just writing a synopsis and getting it under deadline, in which case I would finish it because I'd have to. But the way it's going to be structured is weird, so that is one I have walked away from, but I can't let go. So I've got a couple weeks later this year. I'm hoping to get back to it. And we'll see what happens. I've written so many books. Have you forgotten about them? Oh, yes. There are books I'm like, I don't know. It's interesting because there are things I forget, and then I read like the blurb. I'm like, oh, yeah. And then it sort of comes back to me. Last year at the reader event, we did a game where everybody had an index card, and it had a picture of the cover and a blurb, and so you could ask me a question. You would tell me about it or tell me the title, and I had to tell you something about it. And if I couldn't, you got a prize. And a lot of prizes were given out that very day, so that was fun. Okay, what are my summer plans? I'm going to be working. Yeah, pretty much. I'll be working all summer. Seattle's beautiful in the summer, so we stay home. We'll travel from the fall through, well, not like all that time, but we tend to book our trips fall through spring. Okay, so how do we come up with a title when we found home? Well, we did not. It was sometimes titles are really hard. First of all, you have to make sure nobody has had that title in a long time, and you don't want, like, I've had a lot of sister titles, which is sad because they're very appropriate, but I can't have 57 of them in a row because then you won't know, have I read this? Is it just a new cover? So we went through multiple iterations of not only title, but font, and don't get me started on the font. But we do follow all that information. Oh God, here's a funny. Will you ever write any more chic books? They were great fun. And what was really fun was I had promised a reader years and years ago I would write about the stepdaughter of Prince Malik, who then became King Malik. So I just had guilt because it's like, don't promise this stuff, but I had guilt. So I brought her into Happily Inc. She's in not quite, she's in the Second Chance Girl. I think we meet her. And then she's coming, she falls in love and she gets married, and she has a Christmas book. That's it. Thank you. Janelle's correcting me because she loves me. A Very Merry Princess, which is an ebook, and that's her story. And then she's going to be getting married in the second book this year, Not Quite Over You, the second Happily Inc. book. So yes, I try very, very hard to keep my promises. What is the significance of the cover shoot? The cover shoot was really interesting because we went round and round and round. We originally were going to do this table with food because of the glorious food in the book and arms reaching, but it just didn't come together. So we came up with this one, and oops, let me get this right. And there are hysterical discussions about how they're laying, who's facing who, what are they wearing, are there shoes, are there not shoes, is there a handbag, is there an apple? So it's a whole art form, and I am horrible. I'm sure they just like cringe before our calls because I don't know how to do it, but I'm very clear on telling them what I don't like. So it all came together. Oh, we had a water discussion. Let's all look at the water. It's beautiful. Oops, I can't do this backwards. It's beautiful, right? There was like 14 pictures of water. Oh, it's hard. We want it to be perfect for you guys. Okay. What was the most difficult part of writing When We Found Home, and what was the easiest part? The easiest part was physically writing the book. Once I got it together, it was really easy to do. Plotting it was complicated in two different ways. Delaney's story did not come together easily at all. I did plot group, and I have a group I plot with, and we spent like an hour, 5 of us, an hour and a half trying to get Delaney's story together. And it didn't actually ever work. So when I came home and I started writing the book, I basically spent like a week figuring out her story. And the other thing that was challenging about plotting this book was Kira, the 12-year-old. She does not have a point of view in the story. We have both love interests. We have Delaney and Malcolm, and then Callie and Sandy. I suddenly can't say his name. Okay, we're just going to move on because I suddenly can't say his name. And so, but Kira has a story and a story arc. So what I did, which I've never done before, was I plotted her entire arc, and then each character has to have a scene with somebody, and so that's why if you're partway through and you're like, yes, she does. No, she doesn't have a point of view, but she does have a complete story arc. And then she has her novella. Oh, Andrea, if you could pick a book for Hallmark to do another movie, I think they should do all of them. I think they should do Fool's Gold as a series. I think they should do Happily Inc. as a series. And then they should do all my Christmas books. Oh, and I have a book coming out this February called California Girls, and Allie's story should be a Hallmark movie for Valentine's Day. That's what I think. Who is my favorite character in this book and why? It's a toss-up. It was Callie and it was Kira. I really loved them so much. It was really interesting doing research on Callie and her situation. It's not anything I knew anything about. I have not been arrested or been to prison. And so that was an interesting thing to do research about. The rules are different in different states. To not ever commit a felony in Oklahoma. They take their felonies very seriously. In fact, I was doing research and I had to keep changing the crime so that she was in prison as long as I wanted her and not like a 15-year mandatory minimum. So no, don't commit a crime anywhere, but especially Oklahoma. They're a tough state. So So that was really interesting to do, and I loved her. I loved her journey. I loved her combination of defeat and hope. It was, she wants to believe, but she's afraid to believe. So I love her. And Kira, just what a spirit in that little girl. I mean, she's been through so much, and she's so pragmatic, and yet she's so a scared little girl. So hard not to love her. All right, I'm going to tell you when we found home. There we go. Yay. You can get signed copies at Target. I signed 8,000 copies. They're spread across the country. They will not be in every Target store, but the stores that get them are going to probably get, I'm guessing 6 or 8 or 10, but no more than that. There is a list of independent booksellers who have signed copies. And if you go to, and it's going to be listed in the comments, and in this morning's chat, it's also listed in the comments. The first 10 or so people who come in get a free gift, a gift with purchase, the Alex and Annie bracelet I showed this morning. And the last place is Barnes & Noble. They have signed copies. I'm pretty sure it's online. Sorry, I have to answer this one last question because it's funny. And so they had but they only had a couple hundred, so I don't know how long the Barnes & Noble ones are. So when we found home, and the last funny question is, is there a name I can't use because of how it makes me feel? Yes, I can't use my own name. And then there are names I can't use. I hate the person so much it would make my teeth hurt. Or it's too weird, like a friend's husband. I can't. Ew, no. Ew, that would just be uncomfortable. There have been times when I wanted to use a name and it had personal significance to me, so it creeped me out. So I wrote with another name, and at the end I did a global, which can get you into trouble. But I've done that before. In fact, the book I just finished, one of the heroines' names is going to change after I've done the book. Once I've written the book, it's fine. Do what you want. Change the name. I don't care. But while I'm doing it, they have to be what they have to be. And I have written like 3 chapters and stopped and thought, I hate her name or I hate his name. And then I have to go back and change it. And sometimes changing the name changes who they are. So see, weirdness everywhere. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I appreciate it. I hope you have a fabulous summer, fabulous week. When we found home, all the places, and always come play with me on Facebook because it's really fun. We have a good time, and I just wish you all the best, and thank you. Bye.